Hello everyone, hope you are doing well. Welcome to another episode of DevOps with Zach. I'm Arshad Zakaria, and today I have my good friend, colleague, and another awesome Palowan, Darshan Egde, to discuss about observability. He's a DevOps consultant at Palo IT Singapore, so let's get started. Hi Darshan, how are you doing today?
Hey, hi Arshad, how are you?
I'm doing good. I had my second jab, so I'm pretty cool. Yeah.
I
So
nice, nice.
yeah, so why don't you tell about yourself, what are you doing today, and how far what are you doing, and any hobbies about yourself, anything, man, just
I've been in the DevOps space for the past 4 years, and I have around 7 years of experience overall. And since you said I'm your colleague, we both work in Palo IT. And yes, I'm a DevOps and a cloud engineer. And yes, one of the recent hobbies or the new hobbies that I have is I'm a crypto guy. Hopefully, can become a crypto trader soon, and maybe
oh,
move out
that's
of DevOps
interesting.
also.
I'm hearing that one for first time, I think. The
Yeah,
crypto one, yes, that's
it
interesting.
happens because I think it's a new thing.
Yeah.
We can have a separate podcast on that one, to be very honest.
Yeah, why not, we can do on a separate podcast for the crypto. Yeah, so we can relate how crypto and DevOps can relate, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
And I have a $1 million question for you. Okay.
Okay,
I have a big crush on someone. Okay.
okay,
That's Pooja Hegde. Are you cousin of Pooja?
okay. You hurt me, to be very honest. Uh, she's a very famous actress down south in India, in the
Yes.
southern states of India, and even I come from. I would say I would come from her place or I'm from her caste, but no, I do not know her. And yes, then I do have a crush on her, but
Wow.
she don't make it as a cousin, though. It hurt.
Yeah. Okay, that's right. I don't think maybe she will listen. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I hope she doesn't listen to this podcast.
Yeah. So today we are going to talk about very really interesting the topic that I believe that it's kind of a very underrated area that mainly very rarely people are talking about. That I believe I mean, like, it's my opinion, and I think I thought of like take this area and cover like why it's important and stuff. So it's basically about observability. So let's see what is observability and why this observability is really important in DevOps, and what are the observability tools, and how this related to FinOps, and a lot of things today. So Darshan, so what is observability?
Okay. Observability is nothing but, okay, in previous times, I would say, a few years ago, we used to call it as monitoring. Okay. And now the world has kind of changed, or the industry has evolved. Monitoring is not something wherein, in the olden times, wherein you used to just sit and report the incident or whatever the things you see on the dashboards. But now that space has evolved wherein you get to detect issues sometimes even before the issue has happened, and it also tells you where the issue is, and you should be able, and you'll also be able to resolve it. It will also tell you where's the bottleneck. Let's say if your application is running fine, but if there is slowness in performance, you can dig down deep, and check. So these kind of additional things, whatever we hear about or whatever has happened in the past few years, is what is being defined as observability. It's kind of an underrated field or an underrated industry, but it's very important for each organization
Yes.
to have that observability layer in place.
Yes, that's true, right? Because uh, any field we see like very underrated areas, it's very sensitive top area. Like, I don't want to talk about that. Every industry we see like are underrated areas. In some cultures, they don't highlight those that maybe that uh, occupations or jobs, whatever. But like you said, yes, it doesn't mean to have to be a issue. But like you said, yes, we can prevent any future incidents. like observing the current state of the application. Yes. So why observability important? And so what is mainly different from the monitoring, like the monitoring uh, and the observability, something like it's the same thing, but I think it's a different two areas, right? So there's a gray area to divide these two. So what do you think, like importance of observability and this monitoring?
When you speak of observability, you kind of need to know. Okay, as an observability engineer, I'm seeing profiles wherein it's you call observability engineer in some organizations. Of course, it's part of DevOps, and since SRE is also like a cousin of DevOps, so everything is interlinked in that sense. And the difference between monitoring and observability is that I would say monitoring is just like how we used to have in the olden days, more like help desk, where you had a lot of screens, and if an alert comes, they used to just give a call, sort of a thing. Even on an engineering front, they had a very different team called monitoring team previously, whose job was primarily to just check whether the application is up or not. But in terms of troubleshooting, debugging, and all, it would used to traditionally used to go to the development team or the other teams, whichever is involved. Whereas this world of observability has made sure that you get everything in place, and it's much more. And when I say it's much more, you can actually yourself identify the issue, even if you're a non let's say even if you're a non-technical guy. If you have some understanding on dashboards or data or anything, like anything related to that, um, yeah, I mean, you can basically find out or go into the issue. Maybe you might not fix the issue, but you can at least pinpoint the issue, because the capabilities or the tools or the technologies that we have now compared to, like, 3-4 years ago, have dramatically improved in terms of observability. And why it's important is because for every organization now, especially in this digital transformation space or this era, uptime of the app, and if the app is down, making sure that the app or the website comes back up quickly is the most important critical factor. So it kind of plays a very important role in today's world.
Yeah, Darshan. I think I will add a few things, like yeah, like you mentioned, like not technical, maybe non-technical, right? For example, the management side, the financial department. Okay, they might ask, okay, why this job is like why this AWS bill is very high,
Yes.
and how can we show that the best way to visualization, right? So when we talk about that, we cannot forget Dora metrics. So we can show them the deployment frequency, the lead times and change failure rates, the time to recovery time. So like you said, when it's down, and how long it will we are taking to recover up and running again. So yeah, so I think this really matters to management side, because they are not technical. We cannot use technical jargons a lot of, so we have to explain them in their way. So better ways, like you said, the visualization and dashboard. Yes, so that's one of the part we cannot. For when it comes to, like you said, is cousins like DevOps and SRE. I think Dora metrics taking one of the part.
Yeah.
Yes. So when it comes to observability, we cannot forget the observability tools, because without tools, we cannot monitor or display, visualize. We cannot do anything. So with your experience, what do you think? Like how we choose the correct observability tools?
Um, to be honest, it's a bit tricky when it comes to choosing tools, because it really depends on the industry. Let's say if you're in the banking or insurance, or in especially in the finance space, um, usually the industry doesn't want the data to go to any third party or any other tool also. So most of the times we cannot use a SaaS tool in terms of those kind of industries, but especially in the startup space and everything, we can. So there are a couple of interesting tools. Especially, I would say the top three to four, I would say, leaders would be Dynatrace, New Relic, Datadog. these tools, especially because see, at the end of the day, when you spoke about the management, management usually likes to have licensed products, even though it's changing now, but ratio wise 70% is still licensed with 30% open source. But that 30% is where the growth has happened, because there's so many new technologies and new tools which have come up in this space, especially Prometheus, Grafana, and Elastic. I would say these two are really made sure that all its competitors, all the traditional ones, even I would say Splunk, I would add that, have have to literally make sure that they have to take notice, and they have to reinvent themselves in this space. So I would say it's a combination. If you have to go by the industry, I would say that the big industries still go for the licensed or enterprise tools. But if you're a startup or if you're experimenting, um, the open source really helps, to just start up and just quickly get into things, into the monitoring or the observability space, as you say. um, in terms of what we have to do, Arshad, it would be that one of the first things what we need to do is make sure that our application is healthy or not. That
Yes.
so we need to some. It's not like it's like a complete makeover from monitoring. We do have the basics or the fundamentals of whatever we used to do for monitoring still in place here. I would still say the fundamentals are still pretty much important. And on top of it, we have all the additional metrics, whatever we require. And it can go on and on this one.
Yeah, like you said, it's like bake your own cake, right? I always use this word term.
Yeah.
It
You can
doesn't matter.
customize or bake your own cake.
Yes, personalize. So you have to decide how much sugar you want, whether it's a chocolate cake or a strawberry cake. You have to decide. So it's like Darshan explained. It's not like mainly what, but why also there. Why question also there. So that's we have to highlight about that. Yeah. So why should we cover in observability like as a bare minimum? So you know.
As a bare minimum, I would definitely say that we need to have, like a synthetic ping check, which means just to check whether your application is up or not. This is primarily like, if you do not want any technicalities about it, just hit your website or whatever the things you have, and primarily just hit your website and see whether it's up.
Yeah,
That's like the most fundamental.
yes,
But
I have seen this simple tool called Pingdom. So you can integrate Pingdom with some PagerDuty. So it's very easy. Like you hit it, and if the site is down, it will give the notification. Yeah,
yes, I mean that tool, Pingdom, would be definitely helpful. And I would say every monitoring tool or observability tool that we have these days have this feature.
feature. Yes,
uh, Also can utilize that, and we can even advance or we can personalize. But this one is definitely like the fundamental.
I think
You-
recently we were when we talk inside the Palo session, right? Remember we were talking about the AWS synthesis.
CloudWatch,
Yes, that AWS CloudWatch. What's the tool name? It's
Insect, CloudWatch Canary, CloudWatch
Canary synthetic, right?
Canary synthetic.
Yes, so it comes with the different features of areas that can cover. So if you don't want to go for a third party and you're studying AWS, definitely that's a good option. You can go and use it. Yeah,
Yeah, coming to that, I would say that I mean previously the cloud providers didn't invest or didn't try
yes,
to expand in the monitoring or observability space, but in the recent times, I am seeing that, especially since you brought up AWS,
yes,
the CloudWatch has grown, or it has changed rapidly
rapidly. Yes,
in the last 12 to 18 months, which is
yes,
very
correct.
encouraging
Yes,
if you're on AWS.
I
But
love the contain insight and CloudWatch login site. I really love the CloudWatch login site and the new one, like you said, Canary synthetic, right? Yeah,
yes, so I mean, there is, okay, if you have to ask from a commercial point of view, for a customer it's a delight that they can get in AWS, even though it's expensive, but of course it's money's worth because you need not have a third party. But also in terms of the actual observability tool vendors or providers, yeah, I mean they need to watch out for this, because if cloud providers can provide everything, then it would be tough for the
Other than
actual
this, yeah,
observability vendors to
yeah,
be in the market.
yeah. That's true. That's true. Totally agree. So when it comes to cost, right? So let's compare that cost of observability the versus the uptime of your infrastructure and application. Okay. So
Okay.
what's your thoughts about that?
Uh, Look, sometimes what happens is that the C-level executives,
Yes.
they feel that investing money into this observability tool might not be uh, that important, primarily because they want to invest that money into development, releasing the products, releasing new features and everything. But at the same time, sometimes they miss out that if the new feature, new product has bugs or has issues,
Yes.
your
You're
ratings will go down. Or if there is a downtime, it will have an impact on your social media, on your social branding. So I know that we cannot quantify that amount in dollars, but uptime is so important these days, since everyone is in the digital space, especially because of the COVID and because we are working from home and everyone is at home. So uptime, the cost of uptime is very important in today's times. So okay, it again depends on the company, but
and the nature of the domain as well, right? Like it may be
yes,
financial. Imagine, right, if the PayPal APIs are down, so
yes,
so many business interruptions, right?
yes. So yeah, as you said, it really depends on the business also. Of course, you can do one thing is that any products which are or any feature or any application of yours, if there is like a tiering of your application, which means this application is like our revenue generator, and application B is slightly okay revenue generator but not that important, you can reduce your observability on application B, which is not that important. I mean, it's like a term insurance wherein you just buy the basic features of monitoring for the lower tier application, uh, and do the bare minimum, and you can invest your time, your money, and all of it in your main application. Because I've seen organizations doing that. In my past organizations, we did that, wherein we had to prioritize uh, applications based on its tiering. This is where the tiering of the application comes in, even within the organization.
Yes, yes, you
So
can categorize the tiering level according to
yeah,
the
else
important thing.
else else it is still a expensive piece of, I would say,
Yeah.
expensive piece of capex cost for
This is
the
a this is a good question. I think, Darshan, when it comes to the cloud trail in AWS, okay, you have
yeah,
to get the audits of who has done what, and get the audits. So sometimes we think, okay, the we don't need cloud trail to enable, we can just leave it. But when it comes to even the audit also can go to observability, right? It can involve, because we have to keep monitor who is doing what, right?
yes,
That's
yes,
really very important.
audit
Even
is,
APIs, not only in person, like APIs, everything.
yes,
So I think when comparing to the cost of cloud trail and your criticality of your business, I think is still, if I am the CFO, I would give the grant to pay that money and do that, because it's really important for me from my
yeah, yeah,
point of
Ashad,
view.
you're so right, because even though people might neglect CloudTrail just because it's of no use apart from auditing, it's actually much more important enabling that, because in terms of situation wherein if anything happens, touch wood, uh, you still need your CloudTrail logs to find out, what really happened or who logged in. and who did it. So
and
yeah,
and it comes to security side as well, right? I mean, like using CloudTrail, you can automate things. For example, like if someone is enabling the port for like a public 22 ss port,
yes,
so you can automate and you can do a remediation, like close that remove that log, and send its notification to the relevant department. So I think it's really important for my point of view, to be honest.
yes, yes. I actually, even those things is also under observability. So basically, yeah, I mean, in terms of security monitoring, logging, pure metrics. So the field of observability, yeah, in today's time has completely expanded when compared to the traditional monitoring that we had a couple of years back or few years back. So yeah, you're bang on actually on this one.
Yeah. Okay, so the that we have a lot of cloud providers. We're talking about only AWS, but AWS, GCP, and Azure, Oracle Cloud, and other cloud providers also there, right?
Yes.
So when you talk about the cloud providers, so you think that the monitoring tools, I think we were talking about this previously also, but do you believe the monitoring tools providing by themselves, which is sufficient to like satisfy your requirement for observability?
As of now, at this moment, I would say it's not sufficient. And to answer the question on a whole, um, there's no one tool which can do everything. I think this has to be clear for everyone, because I have encountered this wherein, like, people try to just go into one product and they go very deep and they feel that we have covered everything, but we have not, because not one tool can do everything. So to be honest, as of now, I wouldn't say that just having cloud monitoring tools would be enough. But yeah, in the future, who knows? I mean, if the cloud providers invest even more and go very deep into this space, then yeah. But for the timing, you might need a combination of tools, a combination of open source enterprise tools as
Yes.
part of it.
Yes,
Because
it's tools
certain,
like Prometheus, Grafana also we can get it right. Like
yes, I mean, you need certain tools for certain technologies which you might not find it in the cloud providers. We only touched on AWS, but I know in Azure or GCP we can.
yeah,
But either you might need to like go to Azure Marketplace or Google Marketplace, and you need to still get a third party tool, install it on the cloud, or use it as a subscription feature, something like that, to do it. But yeah, as of now, I wouldn't say that just having cloud monitoring is good enough.
yeah, that's fine. So finally, I will ask one thing. Okay. Uh,
Sure.
so, from your point of view and with your experience, so is there any single tool? Okay, I know it's for set of collaboration, but you're thinking about in some kind of a tool or platform which can deploy on-prem, cloud, hardware, software, whatever. Okay, so if there's a tool or such a platform, so what would be that one?
Um, Look, um, I don't. Okay, maybe I'm not aware of it, or maybe you can correct me, Ashad. But I'm not aware of a single tool which can monitor your data center. If you have like a hardware kind of monitoring, it can monitor your network bandwidth, or it can monitor at the same time all the other things. I mean, in terms of the software side of things, I think there are many tools which can monitor your infra, network, storage, application health, a lot of things. But as I said, when it comes to, let's say, hardware failure related, because we are still on premise, there are still a lot of on premise workloads, and monitoring their own rack, monitoring their own VMs, those things, it's because it's proprietary. You will have the same vendor having some sort of a monitoring tool.
For example, like Dell, they provide their own thing, like the HP.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes, correct. Yeah.
And I know Grafana, I would say Grafana is the best visualization tool, they have tried to make sure that we can use so many data sources, but I haven't seen that those data sources wherein we can get from the enterprise or the paid companies who provide the hardware. So we still have that missing link.
Yeah,
So
but if there are any engineers out there, they can write a plugin.
yes, they can definitely write a plugin
Because it's open source. You can write a plugin, and if it's enterprise level, earn some money.
as long as those enterprises have their APIs open. We are cool, but yeah, I mean we can do that, but I mean if there's something which if the question was out of the box,
Yes.
currently it's not there.
Yeah. Yeah. True. 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 Okay, Darshan. So thank you very much for joining with me. So it was a great session about observability. So I'm not gonna forget. Next one gonna be the crypto. Let's see how
Thanks a lot.
the crypto we can integrate with DevOps. I think anything can integrate with DevOps. Yes. So that culture and practices. So yeah. So have a nice evening and thank you again.
You too, Arshad. Thanks so much. See
Cheers.
ya.
See
Bye,
you.
bye, bye. See ya. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Darshan, for joining with me today. I look forward to seeing you again with another episode of DevOps with Zach.